Welcome to APM Communities webinar. Today's webinar is Prepare for Your Plan Changes meeting. Before we start today, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country upon which we live, learn and work. I am located in Albany in the great southern part of WA, which is home of the Menang people. They call this area Kinjaling, which means the place of rain. I honour and respect their continued cultural and spiritual relationship to their traditional lands, seas and waters, and recognise their unique and valuable contribution to society. I honour their ancestors and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and I would like to extend this to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining here today. So today's webinar is all about preparing for your plan changes meeting, and the topics we will be discussing are preparing for plan changes, which can be either a plan reassessment or a plan variation, and looking at what resources are available. And we will also discuss the importance of your plan goals, your supports, information and evidence required when we are completing a new plan length and plan management options. Before we start, let's touch on what your journey with the NDIS may look like so far. So first, you would have applied for it and been granted access to NDIS. Then you would have been asked to attend a planning meeting, either in person or over the phone. This is where you would have been asked about your disability, the supports you have in your life, and your short-term and long-term goals. With the information and evidence supplied at the planning meeting, a plan was developed. It was approved and sent to you. Then you would have chosen your supports and started your plan. Every NDIS plan will have a plan reassessment date. We need to look at the plan with you by this date and decide if any changes are needed. Your plan changes meeting is an opportunity to reflect on your last plan and what you have achieved. So NDIA want to make it easier for you to talk to us at APM about making changes to your plan. So participants have given feedback to the NDIA that they were confused by the different number of types of reviews, and using the term plan changes instead of plan reviews will give participants and their families more clarity about our processes, because review will now only refer to internal reviews under the S100 of the Act or the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. Let's now look at the three types of plan changes that can occur in NDIS plans. So a plan reassessment is the new term for what we used to refer to as a full plan review of your NDIS plan, a scheduled or end of plan or unscheduled review, and a S48 or what was known as a change of circumstances review. Every NDIS plan will have a plan reassessment date. We need to look at the plan with you by this date and decide if any changes are needed. If a plan reaches its reassessment date before the reassessment is completed, the current plan will be varied to extend it by 12 months so you can continue accessing supports. You can ask for a reassessment at any time, and NDIA will decide whether to create a new plan or vary the current plan, depending on your situation and the evidence you supply to support your request. We will normally contact you or your authorised representatives 3 months before a plan reassessment is due. And during this process, which we call the check-in, we will talk to you about booking in a plan reassessment meeting. We will also talk to you about what information you may need to provide at that meeting, and this gives you an opportunity to be prepared well in advance of the planned reassessment date. This might include requesting assessments or reports from service providers to show how they are helping you work towards your plan goals. You can have a plan reassessment meeting face-to-face. You can have it over the phone or via a video call. You will also have the option to invite supports along to the meeting, such as a family member, a friend, or support coordinator. You might also want to think about what you want to talk about at the plan reassessment meeting. So we will go through what you need to prepare in the coming slides. So the next type of plan changes we will cover is plan variations. So this is the new term for what we used to refer to as a light touch plan review. And this is usually done when changing how the plan funding is managed. When we complete a plan extension rollover or continuation of funding, or a new plan with similar supports and new plans with minor changes. You can ask for a plan variation at any time. If NDIA do a variation, you will receive a copy of the varied plan within 7 days. In some situations, we may be able to make changes to your plan without a full plan reassessment. Under the NDIS Act, we can only vary a plan to correct a minor or technical error, to change the reassessment date of the plan, to conduct a change of plan management chosen, and for example, the NDIA managed to maybe self-managed, to make a change to an existing stated support to reflect a different provider. It could be if you require crisis or emergency funding as a result of a change to your support needs. And it can also be if we receive new information in response to an NDIA request for information that has been previously made. So that might be a quote, for example, for assistive technology or home modifications. If you ask us to vary your plan, you will be getting a response within 21 days. And this will be about deciding to vary your plan, deciding not to vary your plan, or letting you know that we need more time. So the third type of plan change we can do is an internal review. So participants can ask for a review of our decisions. This is known as an internal review of decision, and this used to be known as an S100 or review of a reviewable decision. So there are a few ways you can ask us to review a decision. You can complete the request for a review of a decision form and send it to us. You can send us an email with supporting evidence, or you can call us on the 1-800-800-1110 number. And you could also visit an NDIS or partner office such as APM. So when you request an internal review of a decision, you can let us know. You can let us know what decision you were expecting, why you think we should make a different decision, and if there is any information you've already given us that you would like us to reconsider. If you have any new evidence, such as medical or therapy reports you'd like us to consider also, and information to support your request may include reports or letters that detail your disability and how it impacts you on a day-to-day basis. Any new evidence can be provided to us as part of your request for a review of your decision. Sometimes we may need more information to review that decision, and if we do, we'll contact you and let you know what we need and why we need it. If a participant is not happy with the outcome of this review, they can also ask the Administrative Appeals Tribunal to review that decision. So there are resources available to help you with this preparation. And it's an important one, as this is a great resource. And the NDIS Booklet 3, this is all about using your plan. And this booklet has pages put aside for you to capture information to use at your next plan changes meeting. This information will help you when we meet with you and when we will talk to you about your daily life and what you'd like to do in the future. We'll also talk about how the NDIS can help you to do what you want to do. And we'll ask you about things such as your goals, where you live and your living arrangements, how you move around your home and your community, who supports you now, such as your family, friends, or service providers, what support is available from the community and other government services to help you learn and maybe find new skills and become more independent. Also, what self-care support you need, if you also may need equipment or technology devices, also known as assistive technology, and what social and recreation activities you'd like to do now or in the future. Also, if you need help to build friendships or connect with your family, or you maybe would like to work or study now or in the future. What support you need to build your skills and really to do more things for yourself and build that capacity. So, your goals are an important part of developing your plan, and they can help us to get to know you and the things that are important to you in your life. And goals can also help you think about what strengths that you have and how you can use them. It can give motivation to try different things and build your independence. Be something to work towards as well, where you can measure your progress. So, your goals might include becoming more independent, getting or keeping a job, learning new skills, enrolling perhaps in education, becoming more active in the community, or improving relationships and making friends. There are short-term goals. So these goals can be used to complete maybe under 12 months, and you need to think about things you would like to pursue, why you would like to pursue them, and when you would like to complete them by. So an example of this might be, I might say this year, I want to learn to use the public transport all by myself. And way I can go to the library, I can hang out with my friends and not rely on anyone else. A medium to long-term goal might be with this one, these goals may take a number of years to achieve, but it's important to identify the steps towards pursuing them. So with this example, it might be something like in the next few years, I want to move out of home and maybe do that with a friend. So how far you pursue your goals is up to you. You might want to try small steps, or you might want to aim for a big challenge and a big change and work towards something. So both are okay. You can get help from others to identify and prepare your goals. But when we record your goals in your plan, they will be written in your own words. We can help you to choose the right words for your goals if you ask us. And goals are things that you want to pursue. You might need support from the NDIS and other supports and services to help you pursue them. Your goals might include building your skills and doing more things for yourself. It might be about working or studying now or in the future, doing social and recreational activities now or in the future, building friendships or connecting with your family. It can sometimes be hard to think about goals, so start by focusing on small steps and short-term goals. And these might be things you can work towards during the time of your next plan. So use these questions to start thinking about your goals. So when you think of yourself being happy and living a good life, what comes into your mind? What do you see? Does anything need to change so that you can have that life? How do you see the future? How would you like things to be? What is working well in your life now? And how do we keep these things happening? What is not working well in your life now? What needs to happen to change this? And what are your future hopes for work or study? Are you working now? Are you looking for a job? Are you in your final year of school and thinking about what type of job you might like? Are you thinking about different pathways to finding a job that involve maybe education or training courses, community participation, maybe some volunteering, finding new skills maybe, such as learning to use public transport, managing daily activities and routines, and improving an understanding of what social cues are there? What are your future hopes for getting involved in social and community activities? Are you involved in social and community activities now? So things like playing sport or your local club. Do you want to be more involved? What are the things you would most like to change in the future? These may take a number of years to achieve, but it's important to identify the steps towards achieving them. So now I will show you a short video from the NDIS in regards to reaching your goals.
One of my short-term goals is to go and visit one of my friends in Ballarat, and hopefully by the end of it we're both still in one piece.
I am working on my independent skills, learning to plan meals, grocery shopping and cooking.
Would you like me to talk about this for you? So Naomi's goal is to continue to live independently and live healthily as she lives independently. And through the NDIS, she's able to do that.
I'm doing exercises on a daily basis with the help of my support worker Matt, and one of my longer term or life goals is to get back into my walker and be able to wait there and walk around by myself.
My long-term goal is to become a farmer. Cows make me happy and I want to be able to look after them. I would also like to have other animals so my friends and family can come and visit.
Got your NDIS package and you were able to move into the house independently with support.
It would make me feel overwhelmed to achieve that goal. Be persistent. You can do anything you set your mind to, and remember that slow and steady wins the race.
Created in partnership with WIDAS, the Youth.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing that video. Just going to upload the presentation. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. It's great to see some of those goals that were set. So not everyone will have employment as a goal. However, wherever possible, we should at least be starting the conversation. So the National Disability Insurance Scheme was established to support a pathway to greater social inclusion and economic participation for people living with disability. All Australian citizens have the right to work, and the NDIA provides new opportunities for participants to get the right job with the right supports at the right time. The importance of economic participation is recognised through the requirement in the National Disability Insurance Act of 2013, and it's to understand the participant's economic participation as part of the participant statement. It is therefore the responsibility of NDIA staff and partners as they guide participants through the NDIS planning process to have a conversation about work and, where appropriate, encourage participants to develop an employment goal. And LACs are able to help participants. So LACs are local area coordinators, and they are there to understand the supports and services available and to assist with mapping the person's employment journey to support the employment discussion. So we've got the Let's Talk About Work booklet, and it is used alongside with the participant booklets to engage participants who need some help to understand what work could mean for them, are thinking about work as well, and are preparing for post-school life and are exploring their employment goals. Hopefully they are ready to work and are in work perhaps and would like to know about employment options and also would like to change jobs as well. So a recent Australian study asked people with intellectual disability what they liked and disliked about having a job, and the results showed that relationships and being paid were both in the top 3 best things about having a job. And the most important part of being paid is that people talked about what they wanted to spend their pay on and the difference it made to their lives. They said that they spent their income on daily living expenses such as food, rent or board, health insurance, and transport. So it meant they could shop for things that they liked. They liked to maybe buy birthday presents and pay their own way when out with family and friends. So it was the difference between being reliant on others or having more independence. It also allows people to save up for big items, including holidays, and providing something to aim for and looking forward to. As well as financial independence, work also gives us purpose and it lets us meet new people, make new friends, and earn money to do the things we enjoy. It also gives us the opportunity to challenge ourselves to try something new. Many people with disability also get the disability support pension or the DSP, and many don't have to look for work to get this payment. It may seem easier to just get the DSP and not worry about having a job. However, while the DSP is an important source of income, it only really covers daily living expenses. So it also restricts people's lives. So it can restrict where you can afford to live, whether you need to live in shared housing, whether you can afford to buy the things you need and want. Wages can affect how much DSP you get, but you still are better off if you can work. You can also still get the healthcare card and other benefits like rent allowance and transport support. On top of this, you also get all the benefits of earning a wage. Employment can contribute to a sense of identity and self-worth and have positive health impacts for some people with disability. One of the resources mentioned here we will be taking a closer look at, and that is customised employment. And this is a person-centred, flexible process designed to personalise the employment pathway and in a way that meets the needs of the individual and their potential new employer. It is based on a personalised determination of the strengths, of the needs and the interests of the person with disability. So customised employment may include employment developed through job carving, self-employment or micro enterprise initiatives, or other job development or restructuring strategies that result in job responsibilities being customised and individually negotiated to fit the needs of individuals with a disability. There are two distinct phases in this process. Firstly, we have the discovery phase. This stage focuses on getting to know the individual and working out the kinds of supports that are required, and it looks at and identifies the person's strengths, their qualities, their skills and their interests, and also their preferences. And the second phase is job creation or job carving, it can be referred to as. And this stage uses information from the discovery stage to assist to find or create a job. So this could be a job created with an employer, or it could be self-employment in maybe a micro enterprise. So job creation also includes reaching out to potential employers that have been identified during the discovery stage. So an important part of the plan changes meeting is knowing what supports you have in place. So we will ask you to tell us about the important people in your life and the community who are already supporting you. These are people who don't work for a disability service provider. They might be your friends, your family, they might be your housemates, they could be your neighbours, your supervisor or workmates, maybe advocates or others who care about you and help and support you. They may also be people you support, like your children or parents, or we will also ask you about your living arrangements and if these have changed at all. Have any family members joined or left the home? Are you sharing with different people? Has there been any changes to the people who provide support to you at home or support in the community? Do you have a new doctor or therapist that you have connected to during this plan period? Has there been a change within your circle of friends? And have you started work or are looking for work. Next, we will ask if there are any sporting clubs, community groups, or other organisations you are currently involved with. How often do you participate in activities in your community? How do you get to your activities? And we will also ask if you use any other government supports or services. These might include education, for example, so maybe going to university or TAFE. It might be about transport and health, such as a regular doctor you visit or other health professionals. And if so, it will be how often do you go? And this will help your early childhood partner, LAC or NDIA planner understand what supports you receive from other parts of the government, what community-based activities you are involved in at present, and what you might need in the future. We will also want to know, have your supports changed since your last plan meeting, or have they increased or decreased? Is there any supports in your plan you did not use? What worked well? Were there any supports that did not go well? Are there any barriers? So this information helps us to identify how we can best support you to utilise the supports you currently have or could be entitled to from mainstream and community, and identify any gaps that may be there. So information and evidence is important for us, and this is enabling us to understand the impact of your disability on your daily life. It's all about being able to assist you with this, and we ask for reports and assessments to be completed by your treating health professionals, their therapists maybe, or service providers. Reports provided by treating health professionals help us to understand the support needs of participants to enable them to pursue their goals. Reports should explain the therapy approach used and provide evidence outlining progress towards your goals and recommendations for future support needs. The NDIS is designed to increase a person's skills and independence so they can live a better life. As you work towards and achieve your goals, the amount of support you need will likely change. If a service, early intervention support, or assistive technology has increased your independence and decreased your need for additional support, you may need less funding or no longer need any funding through an NDIS plan. The evidence provided helps us determine whether the supports recommended by these treating health professionals meet our reasonable and necessary criteria. We will also need to know if your disability support needs have changed or if you have any additional disability diagnosis. You will need evidence support to support this, and providing good evidence of disability will support the NDIA to make a decision about your funding. So good evidence is things like recently completed by a treating health professional who is relevant to your primary disability, something that confirms your primary disability, something that confirms the impacts of your disability on the different areas of your life, something that describes previous treatments and outcomes, something that describes future treatment options and expected outcomes of those treatments. Some people may provide reports and assessments recommending assistive technology. We need to understand your AT needs and how the right AT will help you pursue your goals, and we will need different information from you depending on the cost and risk. So some equipment or items will need a qualified assistive technology advisor to talk to you about your needs and situation and help identify the most appropriate assistive technology. The assistive technology advisor may be an allied health practitioner, a continence nurse, a rehabilitation engineer, an assistive technology mentor, or other qualified practitioner. We also have another webinar about assistive technology that helps participants and families understand how we fund assistive technology. So the NDIS was set up as a world-first approach to disability support. It puts people with disability at the centre of decision-making through the principles of reasonable and necessary supports and individual choice and control. As an insurance-based scheme, we take a lifetime approach to a participant's support needs, and we provide assurance to people with permanent and significant disability and to people who might acquire disability that they will get the support they need. Individual funding means we help participants to purchase services and supports from a competitive and consumer-driven marketplace. So let's talk about what supports can we fund. So the NDIS supports should complement, not replace other supports available to you. That's why we consider the things you're able to do for yourself. Support you have from others in your network, including family members, relatives, friends, and the local community, perhaps mainstream or government services as well. Once we've considered your circumstances, we need to follow the rules determined under the law for the NDIS in our planning decisions. And we fund supports that are reasonable and necessary. So this means we will only fund a support if it meets all of the following. So the following criteria, including the support being related to your disability, the support that will help you pursue your goals and aspirations, the support that will help you undertake activities that will increase your social and economic participation, the support that will add value for money, which means that the costs are reasonable when compared to the benefits to be achieved, for example, whether purchasing the support is likely to reduce the cost of funding other supports in the long term. When compared to alternative options that may provide you with the same outcome at a similar or cheaper cost. The support is likely to be effective and beneficial to you, having regard to good practice and evidence, and also that the support is required to complement the informal supports you have available, and by taking into account what is reasonable for families, for carers, for informal networks, and the community to provide. And also the support is most appropriately funded or provided by the NDIS, and the support is not more appropriately funded by another service system, agency, person, or body, such as the education system or the health system. So we can't fund a support if it's the responsibility of another service system. So what supports don't we fund? So we do not fund a support if it is likely to cause harm to you or others, if it is not related to your disability, if it duplicates other supports delivered by the NDIS, it is considered perhaps a day-to-day living cost, for example, things like rent or groceries or utility costs, that is not attributed or caused by your disability support needs. So providing the support would be against the law. It consists of income replacement. It is the responsibility of another service system to provide, for example, your state government, the education system, or the health system. These different systems have different responsibilities and are designed to complement each other to form a government safety net. Like all Australians, NDIS participants continue to have access to these systems. We can't fund a support if it's the responsibility of another service. We use the following 7 principles to create plans that help you get the reasonable and necessary supports you need and to make sure the scheme is financially sustainable. So it needs to be fair for everyone, both today and for future generations. It needs to be fair funding to pursue your goals. It needs to be evidence-based and best practice. It needs to be fair early investments, fair supports across service systems, fair supports for your disability needs, fair assistance from multiple programs. So fair for everyone, both today and for the future generations. So while we need to consider your individual circumstances and disability needs, we also need to make consistent decisions and treat people fairly. So this means participants with similar circumstances and disability needs should receive similar amounts of supports in their plans. We also need to ensure the total cost of all participant plans are within the overall NDIS budget set by governments, and each support in your plan must be reasonable and necessary, but they also need to be reasonable and necessary as a package of supports. We approve your whole plan, not the individual supports in your plan in isolation. So this helps keep the system fair for everyone and ensures we remain financially sustainable. So our next topic is managing your budget. So there are 3 options to manage the financial side of your NDIS plan. So where we have NDIA agency managed or plan managed and self-managed, you can also choose a combination of the 3 options. For example, you may choose to self-manage your therapy budget as you want to use a non-NDIS registered therapist and have the rest of your plan managed by the NDIA. Your early childhood partner, LAC or NDIA planner, would have asked you how you would like to manage your NDIS funding during your planning meeting. If you are unsure if you have chosen the right option for you, you can request a change. No matter how your funds are managed, you still have choice and control to ensure your services are working for you and fit in your budget. So let's cover each of these options in more detail. And I have a chart on the following screen that highlights the differences between these options, which your plan is managed by the NDIA, and it is sometimes referred to as agency managed. So the NDIA pays your providers on your behalf, and you are able to choose from a range of NDIS registered providers, and your providers claim payment electronically from your funding, and you cannot use unregistered providers, and you can look on the MyPlace portal to see what claim providers are making against your NDIS funding and keep track of your budget. The NDIA will manage your bookkeeping and records of your spending. So plan managed funding is when the NDIA provide funding in your plan to pay for a plan manager who is like a bookkeeper, who then pays your providers for you. They help you keep track of funds and take care of financial reporting for you. A plan manager can help you increase your financial and plan management skills, learn how to self-manage your plan, pay providers, increase your choice of providers, get NDIS plan budget reports, and greater budget oversight. So self-management is when you manage the financial side of your NDIS funding. So you pay directly for supports and services and claim them directly from your MyPlace portal. So if you self-manage your NDIS funding, you will have choice in deciding what supports you purchase in line with what is included in your plan and who provides these supports and how they are delivered. And when we're talking about flexibility, flexibility is where you're going to be able to use any provider that will best help you to pursue your plan goals. Then we talk about capacity, and that is about giving you that capacity to employ or contract staff directly or have someone employ staff on your behalf. When we're talking about ability, this is where that gives you the ability to negotiate the costs of your supports so you get the best value for money and to use savings to buy more or better quality supports. We also talk about control, and we want you to know that you can have control over and responsibility for your NDIS funding so you can manage your own budget for the duration of your plan. So if you are thinking about self-managing, you need to understand your responsibilities as a self-manager. Okay, so on the screen, it's very small, but on the screen is a chart showing the different ways a plan can be managed and the activities you can do depending on the choices you made. So if you look at the first column under self-management, you can see that this gives you the greatest flexibility and more responsibility. If you look to the center column under the plan manage, you will see that it has two red crosses, and that indicates you cannot pay more for services than the price guide indicates, and you don't need to manage your own records of spending. With the third column, this is very similar to the plan manage, but that it also shows that you are required to choose only NDIS registered providers as well. So you cannot pay more for services than the price guide indicates, and you don't need to manage your own records of spending with this option. So when we're talking about plan duration, so it's an important consideration when considering your next plan and its duration. So before we select this, we need to consider if your circumstances are likely to change significantly during the next plan period. So you may request your next plan period to be 12 months, 2 years, or 3 years, dependent on your circumstances. So a planned duration of up to 3 years is designed for participants who are in a stable situation where their support needs are unlikely to change. They are confident in using their funding to achieve their goals. They are focused on longer term goals such as learning new skills, maybe employment or becoming more active in the community. To prepare for this conversation, you will want to consider any life changes you're expecting to make over the next 3 years. For example, leaving school, starting or leaving work, or a change in your living situation. How connected you are with your social and community supports is another one. Your goals and preferences around plan duration. So if your supports needs are unlikely to change, a long plan duration means you can carry on with your life without needing to go through frequent plan changing meetings and all those processes. And the LAC can help you work out whether a longer plan duration is suitable for you. If your circumstances change at any time during your plan period, your LAC or planner will be able to help you review your support needs and to undertake a plan review if required, to ensure your plan suits your new situation. So you will be contacted once you've received your plan to discuss how it's going and check whether you are getting the best value from your plan and whether you need help finding services and supports, have had contact with your plan manager or support coordinator if you have one, and have any questions or concerns that you have, we can discuss those with you as well. We're going to maybe think whether your goals are still relevant, if you feel you are achieving your goals as well, and have you started thinking about your next review and gathering the required evidence. So support is available to assist you in building that confidence, that independence and capacity to connect to community and mainstream supports, manage your reasonable and necessary funded supports, connect to service providers to establish service agreements, and to manage your plan and use the MyPlace Participants Portal. So LACs and support coordinators work with participants and families to build confidence and capacity to explore new opportunities and to explain your informal networks, community and Main Street connections. And this may include assisting the person to map circles of natural supports, then identifying strategies to strengthen these natural supports, and promoting and building that confidence in self-advocacy. We also may look at being more aware of the concept of making sure that there's no dignity of risk as well. So that brings us to the end of today's webinar, where we covered preparing for plan changes and the different plan changes we can action, including a plan reassessment or a plan variation, and the resources, your plan goals, your supports, information and evidence, plan management options, and plan length. Okay, and so I really wanted to thank you all for your attendance today. Now it's a case of, if you have any further questions, to notice down the bottom there that we've got the contact details for APM Communities or the NDIS. So now it's over to you to help prepare for the upcoming plan changes. So if you can write down any questions you may have, gather any reports, information and evidence, complete the booklet 3 and arrange for someone to attend with you if needed, and request an interpreter if you need as well. And remember to think about what worked well in your current plan, if there was any barriers you encountered, and the progress you have made towards your goals. So any new goals you may be wanting to work towards, the plan length that best suits your circumstances, and the way you want you to have that fund managed. Any assistance you would like to help in the start of your next plan. So thank you for joining me today, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.